Hello and welcome, Honors Geometry parents. I'm Carolyn Fisher and I'm so excited to have you here for our virtual Meet the Teacher night. I have so much to share with you. So good news, this is our digital platform. We have the opportunity, you can pause the video at any point if I'm going too fast and you want to just take a minute and process things. So right now would be a great time to pause and read the quote and join me on the next slide. I'm going to go through the top 10 ways this class may be different from a previous course your son or daughter has taken, specifically math classes. And starting off, we're going to talk about the subject. The nature of geometry itself is very different than algebra. And I like for parents to know this. I think this is one of the most crucial things, in fact, for them to know, because students notice, and students don't necessarily like this, especially the students that were really good at algebra and it came really easily to them. It doesn't mean that they'll hate geometry, but they might sort of find that it's not, they might just kind of resist it a little bit. So we do a lot of crazy things. I absolutely love this class. It is my favorite class to teach, and I think this is why. It's really good thinking. Regardless of what they remember or don't remember about geometry, they will come out of the class a better thinker. We really hone in on those upper level thinking skills, their logic. How do they know something is true? How can they justify their reasoning? 45% of the math portion of the ACT test is geometry. If you're not familiar with that, that's one of the college entrance tests. And I really don't know where else in school we do that. We teach this visual thinking, which is not just for artists. That's really used in a lot of career fields and just makes them better thinkers overall. So in the process of studying geometry, we're really going to practice being mathematicians every day. I have the opportunity to work with students and give them the chance every day to notice, describe, generalize things. That is the heart of mathematics. So I know this is going to be a little bit of a weird year, and I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do everything, but I can tell you that I'm not going to change my philosophy as an educator, and I'm going to find a way, regardless of what platform we're in, to make sure that your students are experiencing mathematics at its best. And that means that they're going to be the ones that are discovering and exploring mathematics. There's so much to play with. This class is a journey, and I think that's why I really love it. They start with very, very little knowledge, and we build, and I see so much progress throughout the year. It's an absolute joy for me to have the opportunity to teach this, and I thank you so much for sharing your son or daughter with me. We talk about learning a lot in this class and making mistakes, and I think it's crucial that you hear this as parents of honor students. They are the worst culprits at thinking that they should be perfect, expecting themselves to be perfect. Often the expectations come from them and not you. So, and I know this because I was this student. So if you're looking for resources, I have some on the screen now that talk about this growth mindset. I would also encourage you to have a conversation with your son or daughter about the backward bicycle. Ask them about that, and that'll get you started on talking about this. My homework might look a little different than what they're used to. We'll use a mix of My Math Lab is a homework program that we have that they may have used last year. I also do some paper and pencil, whatever that looks like this year. But most importantly, I think that I've done a lot of research on the best way to practice things. There's a book called Make It Stick, and it really focuses on the importance and the research behind helping kids to retain information and this spaced retrieval. So instead of giving them 10 questions of practice on the same thing, I'm going to try to stick to this policy of 2 questions on current content. That's new stuff that we did. And then bring in review questions. But rather than asking the same questions, I'm going to, once I figure out they've mastered something, then I'm going to ask them the same concepts, but up the level of difficulty. So it's going to do 2 things. They're going to constantly be challenged, but they're also going to constantly be bringing back things that they've learned. And I think in this scenario that we're in this year, this is going to be even more important than ever for helping them retain. We're going to have less face-to-face time to really do the continual spiraling that we need to do in mathematics. So it sometimes is awkward for students because they feel the learning doesn't feel as easy. So they feel like they're not learning as much. But the research shows that in the long run, they learn more and they retain it much, much, much longer. Collaboration is practiced and encouraged both in and out of my class. So I encourage your son or daughter to maybe work with other students, whatever that may look like, form a study team, but we will practice this in class. So whether students are at home zooming in or they're sitting in front of me, this is still going to be a part of my class. It's going to be a challenge, but I believe that learning is a social construct and we can't separate the two. So I'm embracing the challenge. I'm looking at it as a chance for us to more than ever focus on the communication part that is so important in mathematics and use of our academic vocabulary. So I'm trying to look at it as a positive, and I really think this might be the best year yet in terms of us really holding ourselves to one of those really important mathematical practices. Individual responsibility is also an expectation. So yes, we work together, but math is not a spectator sport. So specifically for the students when they're at home and they're on Zoom, they're not just watching class, they are part of the class. My expectations will be the same for them as the students in class. And it's going to take a little while to figure all this out, but this is really important to me that they are present, that they're engaged, and doing everything that we're doing together. We're still one big class. We do practice self-assessment, and I think this is a great place for parents to help and have conversation with students as well. And this is something that can be ongoing, not just at the end of the unit. And that's a great place for you to kind of facilitate the conversation of, do you think you need a little bit of extra help? I do find that my class is often the first class students have had to study for. So that's not unusual. If they're falling behind, just make sure they're doing a little bit every day, and please encourage them to contact me. On the screen, I have options for when they can get help. The math lab is a school run. It's run by different math teachers throughout the day, and that is available during their study hall. They could go and get help from a math teacher. So that's a great option because it's not extra time on their part. It would just be making really good use of that study hall time rather than sitting there and getting confused. So for students that are coming to school, they would have 1 day a week to take advantage of that, and I have other options on the screen as well when I will be available. Our grading policy for all high school math classes, for honors classes, sorry, is 90% of their grade will be the assessments, graded assignments, mostly tests and quizzes. And then 10% will be anything else, classwork activities, any learning supports that we do. So that is a department policy. More than ever this year, supplies are a must. I'm a sharer and I have tons of supplies in my classroom and it's killing me, but we are really trying to make an effort as a school to minimize the use of shared supplies as much as possible. So that being said, there might be a time that I do pass out things and we just make sure we wipe things down really good, but I think there are a lot of things that students can have and be prepared and bring with them. So I find a lot of students try to do the everything folder. That's what I call it. They put everything in the same folder. It lasts for a week or less, and then it's a total disaster. So please help your son or daughter. If you could do one thing to help them, it would be help them get organized and then just establish a really good system at the beginning of the year. A 3-ring binder is great. I'm going to try to minimize the handing out of paper, but they can certainly, I will post things that they can print or they can have paper in there that they use. Graphing calculator, they should have had that already from last year. Let me know if you have questions on that. The geometer and compass, we've always required this. The course fee is new this year. We usually just have the students go get it. So the $6 course fee covers both of those, and you may have already gotten those. We will use those throughout the entire year. And then for in-person students, I am asking you to bring, if possible, a working whiteboard marker. Again, that'll just minimize the use of shared supplies and touching of things. So we have a great room. I know you don't get to see it, but we have an awesome room to work in. It's huge, and we will be able to keep distance and use our wonderful whiteboards. So comfortable shoes and a whiteboard marker are a great thing to have. Multiple resources. So we do have a textbook. The students can access it. It's an online textbook through My Math Lab. They do need a login, and they will get that within the first day or so of school. But in addition to that, I use a lot of other resources. So Schoology is kind of your one-stop shopping as far as those resources. So I'll just show you real quick what our Schoology page looks like. We've got the Zoom links here, and then I will be adding stuff. So I already have the syllabus in here and the textbook access. I will add other resources. Right now you can see I have an algebra review folder with a bunch of videos of specific skills. And obviously I'll be adding to that geometry videos as we go through the year. A good place for you to help your students stay organized, or if you just want to know what's happening, Infinite Campus has all of the past things that are already graded, so not helpful with keeping on top of things. The calendar is going to be used extensively this year, the calendar within Schoology, by the entire staff. So as far as keeping up to date with what's coming up this week, tests, assessments, anything like that. As far as contacting me, email is the best way to contact me. My email does have my first initial after my last name, and most teachers are just their last name at mentorschools.org. So please do keep that in mind so that it comes to me if you do email me. Other ways to contact me. Remind is a student favorite. That's a texting app, and I will have them sign up for it. It is voluntary. You could also sign up via email. So if you want to sign up as a parent, you're welcome to. I will caution you that I will send out probably a text every day. So if you're not interested in that, then maybe don't sign up for it. But I encourage you to encourage your students, if they're okay with it, they're welcome to text me, or of course they can use my email as well. If you're going to call me, call the main office, leave a message. That's the only phone that I'm going to receive calls on and be checking. And the last thing that I like to mention is we do a lot of mathematical modeling in the class, and we answer real life questions that have everything to do with geometry and are tons of fun and super challenging to try to wrap our head around. So that's something that'll be like interspersed throughout the year. If you're looking to get your son or daughter interested in a challenge, an extracurricular activity, we're not exactly sure where, but we're looking to do an in-person and a online option for participating in Math League. There's no tryout. You just show up and challenge yourself, work with other students, and improve your problem solving skills. Thank you so much for your time. I know I went fast. I apologize trying to stick within a time limit, and I'm a little over. Don't tell anybody. This is kind of just a recap. You can make a difference. I appreciate all of your support, and more than anything, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you sharing your son or daughter with me. I truly have the best job in the world. I get to work with these amazing students every day, and I am thrilled about getting to meet them and getting the year started. So please keep in touch with me. I think the biggest challenges this year are going to be organization and communication. So those are on the forefront of my mind. But let's work together, and I'm excited to make it a great year for your son or daughter. Thank you so much.